should be millions of civil class action suits against every state in the union.
Yeah, there has been.
The question is, why aren't they? But the question is why aren't they?
Well, that's where you get the case law from. These are these were cases that were won, in court.
No. Okay, but you're missing my point, brother.
Mm-hmm.
None of these cases, if won, put a dent in what you're calling fraud in every state of the union.
Well, the fraud comes in that.
So that means, listen, that means that all the citizens with driver's licenses are cowards. But here's a better one. Right? The law is subject to something. What is it subject to, according to core American government principles? What is the law subject to? Legislation. Legislation. In other words, guess what? Hold on, follow me. If there's fraud, there's an easy way to fix it. You don't fix it in the courts. You fix it at the polls.
Mm-hmm.
Why hasn't it happened?
Good question. Because the people are duped. Let me run this by you, because we talked about we talked about.
But where? I want to see the Supreme Court case that says that driver's licenses are only for commercial operators.
Well, here it is, right here with
what's the site?
The Title 18.
18 United States Code.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
Section 31.
Section what?
31.
Title 18, Section 31.
Yes, sir.
31?
Just like the word traffic means commerce, trade, sale, or exchange of merchandise, bills, money, or the like, the passing of goods and commodities from one person to another for an equivalent in goods or money. That's Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 1914 edition, page 3307.
Right. Now,
so you can't have a traffic ticket if you're not selling nothing.
Title 18, right? I'm reading it right here. Right. I still, you said that this is a Supreme Court case that said that,
Yeah,
I'd like to see that Supreme Court case, right? Now, Title 18 is just giving definitions for terms. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. All it's doing is giving definitions for terms. So now the question becomes, and I really don't want this whole thing to be about driving, right? But since we're on the topic, the question now becomes, what is commercial?
The exchange of money, commodities, or a fare for a service rendered.
Is it broader than that?
It can be.
It does include that. So what else would it include?
Well, I don't know.
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
Right? The people.
Well, wait a minute. You said driving?
Yeah, you're driving. Yeah. Okay. Listen close. The people.
Let's look at what driver says.
I know what it says, but in Black's Law Dictionary, I know. But listen, and this is, trust me, I'm following your context. So I'm not getting off topic. I'm following your context. Commercial. What does commercial encompass? Does it encompass the transport of goods for services for a fee? Of course. Yes. Mm-hmm. Does it encompass anything else? Is the question. Follow me. Who owns the roads? 2 words, people. Simple. One is the other is what?
State.
Republic.
The people.
The people. Okay, so the people.
State doesn't
All right,
own
so
it.
now,
State doesn't own it. The people
Right.
own it.
right.
All right, hold on. The people own it. So that's why they're called what kind of highways?
Interstate.
Public.
Okay, that's okay.
That's another inclusion of the definition of commercial, brother.
I
Believe
beg
it
to
or
differ
not.
because right here
Believe it
says
or not.
driver.
I know what it says.
Driver.
One who's employed in the use of the public highways for commercial, for commerce. I know.
Yeah.
But now
So,
think about what I
so
just
the
said.
average person can't be a driver unless they're making money. They're employed to do that.
No. Now you're limiting the definition of commercial, which is why I asked what I asked earlier. Can the definition of commercial include other things? You said yes. I agree. One of the definitions of commercial is public.
Public what?
In this case, public highways.
Okay, so
See,
now
on my own private road, no one regulates it but me. But in the public, listen close, for the sake of what? Public safety.
right.
Any right can be regulated, and that regulation is given to regulation power is given to who? According to the Constitution, the states or the people, respectively.
Okay. So I really don't understand the point because the legislation is very, very clear. So, like for instance, travel. The term travel or traveler are usually construed in their broad and general sense so as to include all those who rightfully use the highways vertically when being reimbursed for expense and who have occasion to pass over them for the purpose of business convenience or pleasure. That's in that's in American jurisprudence, highway section 427, page 717, or it says traveler, one who passes from place to place, whether for pleasure, instruction, business, or health. That's Locke versus State. And it's also in Beer's Dictionary, 1914, page 3309. It also says to journey or to pass through or over as a country, district, road, etc., to go from one place to another, whether on foot or horseback or any conveyance, as a travel, an automobile, carriage, ship, aircraft, make a journey. That's Century Dictionary, page 2034. Therefore, the term travel or traveler refers to one who uses conveyance to go from one place to another and includes all those who use the highway as a matter of right.
Exactly. Now, here's the question, and this is what we're really coming down to, people.
All right.
What we're really coming down to is the power of the people by way of the states for the purpose of public safety to regulate rights, bro. That's really what we're coming down to. And so,
yes, sir.
But listen, now, either the people by way of the states can regulate rights for the purpose of public safety, or they can't. This is what we're really dealing with. That's it. Either they can regulate the rights or they can't regulate the right. And if they can regulate the right, the question is that impeding on the right to travel? That's the question.
Well, the traveler, Christie versus Elliott, pretty much says that the traveler is only owed due care as far as the rules of the road, the stop signs, the no U-turns, the yield signs, and things of that nature.
But hold on, brother. Hold on. Aren't stop signs a part of regulation of rights?
It's more of guidelines for safety. Because
what kind of safety?
Public safety.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Public safety.
So you agree with
the Christian versus Elliott, please look it up because
I'm familiar with it.
Yes, sir. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, the thing that's funny, and I'm gonna say it, elder, is in your day you successfully traveled with impunity. You know,
I didn't do it. That doesn't mean, but it doesn't mean I was right, bro. I know lots of. I got friends of mine that had a 10-year run selling drugs. Didn't make it right. They didn't get caught though.
You see, now you mix a conjecture. Right?
No,
you can't make that comparison, brother, because
brother,
to drive without a license is not illegal.
Brother, I can tell you I was wrong. I can admit that I was wrong. I just knew more than the people I had to deal with in the courts at the time. Mm-hmm. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. I brought up a number of these cases in those issues. Now, you got to remember, this was 1993 when I did it, right? And not just me, but other people as well. When we brought up the definition, I pulled out my Black's Law Dictionary 3rd edition and read the definition I did all of that. And you know what the judge did? I can give you the judge's name. We're good friends to this day. And he was like, and I pulled out a couple of other things. And he was like, you know what he didn't do that he realized 2 decades later? He realized it. Context is king, people. I was reading definitions out of a law dictionary. I was using cases that dealt with interstate travel, which are federal level, not municipal. And I was dealing with definitions that did not apply at the municipal level.
Did not apply to what, brother?
They did not apply at the municipal level. In other words, they were out of context and he didn't catch it.
But in order for the municipal, now I'm asking the question, in order for the municipal courts to have jurisdiction, don't you have to be a citizen of that state? I mean, not that state, but that city?
Brother, there's something called territoriality. That's not a contract. Let me repeat that.
See, I wasn't going to say that about contract, but
no.
South Carolina driver's license law talks about contracts.
But follow me.
So it says in section 56115 that the Department of Motor Vehicle must enter into contracts with persons, corporations, or governmental subdivisions.
Okay.
That's not me talking. That's the legislation of South Carolina.
Brother, listen. Territoriality goes above and beyond that. This is what I mean by territoriality, bro. I don't care what you got. Run a red light. Run a stop sign.
Yeah, that's a safety issue.
Brother, like I said, we agree. Come on, man. We agree. It's a safety issue. And guess what? Follow me. That goes above and beyond contract. I don't have to. That's not a I agree or disagree thing with the state authority. You're getting stopped, and authority is being exercised on you. That's just what's happening.
And that's what endangering the public safety. Because remember, even in constitutional principles, there's 2 main principles: do not injure anyone and honor all contracts. So if you're being reckless in endangerment.
Okay, but who did I injure if I run the stop sign and don't hit anyone?
Nobody.
But I'm getting stopped, aren't I?
Of course.
Are they asking me about do I have a contract or not?
No, they're wondering why did you run that stop sign?
But are they asking me about? But hold on. If their authorities contingent upon the contract, wouldn't they start with that?
Not really, because the average policeman is as ignorant as a lump of dirt.
But brother,
they know nothing about law. They know
brother,
penal codes and arrest procedures and what they believe in.
But brother, that's fine, no problem. I'll address it when I get to court. Why doesn't it not work there?
Well, I mean, I can't say that because we have brothers who've gotten those situations nollied, one after the other. See, that's one thing about me is we don't deal with reading or what we actually live this.
Now let's get back to context.
Yes, sir.
Of the show. You think our prophet sacrificed his life and did all he did so you could do that?
Well, it's hard to say, because in the 1920s, the only
It's
people
hard
who
to
had a
say.
driver's license was milk truck drivers, street sweepers, people who were employed in operating a vehicle, like John Gibbons Hill. He had a chauffeur's license because he chauffeured the prophet around.
But brother, listen.
Billy Bob could jump on the doggone and jump in a Model T Ford and go and get something from the doggone store and come back.
Okay, but let me ask the question again, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You think the prophet worked all those years and set up 15 temples in Chicago and went to Havana, Cuba in January of 1928 and went to Mexico and he did all of these things just so you could do that?
No, see, don't make that the whole the total of what we do. See, because we have ministries of education, holistic health. We have labor and vocation. You know, these things that were not, they might have been in place at one time, but they're not existing now. The right to travel is, like, trust me, we don't make this a big issue. All the other Moorish Americans make it a big issue. See, we're trying to put ourselves in a position where we don't have to fill out an application to feed our families, because we have created jobs for Moors, by Moors, with Moors. That's what we're about. We're about establishing these things. The labor and vocation, we're supposed to have Moors who teach our babies a trade. We don't have to go to trade school. We have our own people who teach our people a trade. You know, we don't have to, we should be able to do these things. And that's what we established. Everybody else is making the right to travel a big issue.
All right. So I want to go into Islam. I want to go into Moorish Holy. How long has Moorish Holy existed? That's the first question I have.
May 1st, 1916.
May 1st, 1916, Moorish Holy existed.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, the first constitution said Moorish Holy Temple of Science, the divine constitution and laws of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science.
But that didn't exist in 1916, brother.
That's what I was taught.
It didn't exist in 1916. Not that.
Okay, so that was I was taught.
All of us are victims
of teachers who mistaught us.
Okay, understood. But why do you say that the Moorish Holy Temple of Science goes back to May 1st, 1916?
Because that's what I was taught.
But how do you? Oh, that's what you were taught. Okay. Here's the history.
All right. Okay.
Here's the actual history.
Please.
I want to give that for the viewers, and I'll be very, very short. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali started teaching at 181 Warren Street. That was Dixon's barbershop.
Right.
1913. No. That wasn't Canaanite Temple. Dixon's barbershop in 1913. He taught there for 3 years. Okay. His assistant was James Dixon.
Yes.
Right. By the time 1916 came around, the barbershop was too small. They rented a space on 12th and Rutgers, second story above a saloon. They paid the first month's rent on May 1st. That's the origin of Canaanite Temple. That is also the beginning of the use of the name, the Moorish Divine National Movement in North America, not Moorish Holy Temple of Science.
All right. I have another question. So I wanted to, pardon me, brother Mikey. I don't mean it. I'm sorry, but I had like 3-part question. So Moorish Holy, you say, existed in 1916. Now, from 1916 all the way up until this point, you said that the right to travel is not a big issue. You guys don't really focus on that.
You guys focus on that.
I'm not. I don't focus on that.
So, I don't got to
why
in
that
that
subject
race.
matter?
I'm not focused on that.
I don't got to work in that race.
Now, what I want to know is since Moorish Holy existed in your jurisdiction, if you will, for lack of a better term, under your leadership, what has you have school, you said you have all these things that you mentioned. What are the successes of these parts of your organization? Has anything been accomplished great in the area that people can display, put on public display or be proud of, or what have you guys accomplished in Moorish Holy?
Well, our educational department is virtual. All right. We teach these various subjects virtually. We've been begging, you can look at my past videos. We've been begging for Moorish Americans in general to help us build this. But what Moorish Americans have done is gossip about it and try to destroy it. See, because I was in a meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, and a brother saw us in turbans and fezzes and came up to us and said, "Islam, Moors." Like, "Islam, brother, how you doing?" He said, "Where you guys from?" We told him. He says, "Yeah, I came up in Philadelphia. I went to school in the Moorish temple from K5 to 12 and went on to college. And when I came back, they only came up to 7th grade. And now they don't do it no more. Whose fault is that?" But we need it. My daughter just had a lady, my grandson didn't go to school for one day. Some lady comes to the door about truancy. Huh? They lock parents up for truancy because you don't bring them to there was a lady in North Carolina. She didn't want to help me establish the Ministry of Education, but they were threatening to put her in jail because she was homeschooling her Moorish American children. What entity is in place to protect her from homeschooling her children when you got Hindus that teach their children in the back of the hotel that they own? See, we're not talking about no Glee Club stuff. We're talking about solutions, because there is none. And the Moors are not addressing the solutions. Everybody else has their own and is not pinned as being separatist or against the government. I bring up my old Seventh-day Adventist church. They have a school from K5 to 12. And then when they graduate from the 12th grade, they go to Oakwood College. Where's our Moorish college? See, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about solutions. So now, who is willing to come together? And where we have cracks in the wall and cracks in the floor, fill those cracks for us. Who's willing to step forward and collectively, these programs, these religious corporations we put in place, for lack of a better term, project out to different republics. Our Noble Drew Ali Supreme Moorish Customary Court. Why? Because the Hasidic Jews have their halakha courts. The Muslims have their doggone Sharia courts.
Where?
Our Moorish American courts.
What Sharia courts are you talking about?
Well, they had a big thing about that, Elder, because Sharia courts were popping up, and the United States was kind of going against that.
When?
But, yeah, they were going against that.
No. When?
In New York?
When? I never heard of those.
It was on the news.
No, I know that. No, there was a big talk. There was a lot of bluster about Sharia law, but No courts.
Wait a minute. They don't have a system where they can adjudicate.
No, that's a civil authority, brother, not religious.
So what about the Hasidic Jews?
Same.
Really? Man, we gotta do you can go on their site and see where people are filing cases and fighting cases in their halakha courts.
But hold on. Here's my question. What type of cases are they fighting or filing?
Personal disputes.
Between who?
Between Hasidic Jews.
In their congregation.
In their circle,
congregation.
Yeah.
Over what?
Over what?
Over what?
Like I said, civil disputes.
No, see, that's what we have.
Well, when I say civil
wouldn't
disputes,
it be over religious
yes,
issues?
because that's
exactly what it is. But it's
the
still
organization has the power to hear anything about.
Right.
See, no, listen. If me and you have a difference of agreement, wouldn't that be a civil situation?
No, sir. The context of the agreement. Here it is. It has the context of the agreement. You understand? It has to be I'll give you an example. What if it was a property issue? What if it was a property issue?
If it was a property or contractual issue, then it could be heard in a regular court.
Okay, but so give me an example of an issue that would be heard in a religious court.
An issue might be a dispute in procedures.
That's religious.
Somebody breaking religious law.
That's not civil.
Okay, so I mean, you keep saying civil. I'm saying that there should be a jurisdiction where if I have a problem, Jelani Bey, and Brother Ron has a problem, or Ron Ill or Bey has a problem, that you put your complaint in, I put my complaint in, there is a panel that hears the complaint, that makes the law and enforce the law, and based on the complaints and the evidence, make a decision between those two parties.
Can we agree that the prophet, can we go back to the fact that the prophet is the final authority? Yes or no?
Yes, of course.
1929, when Lomax Bey refused to give any more finance to the prophet. Now, mind you, that was Temple Finance. Temple Finance. When he refused to do so, where did the prophet file an injunction on him?
That was in-house.
No, it wasn't, brother. No, brother. No, it wasn't. He filed an injunction right there in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
That's what he did. That's final authority, bro.
I got you right, but we're talking about the 1920s.
All right. So I want to know. So he filed.
Another thing you're not. Another thing that we're not looking at is May 1st, 1930. I mean, May 5th, 1933.
Yeah, but we got to look at how did the New Deal affect that, brother?
Well, what the New Deal did was it took the power from the people and made the people corporations.
Wrong.
And created another jurisdiction.
That is not what it did. That is not what the New Deal did, brother.
Well,
FDR did. That's not what FDR did. No.
But didn't FDR the Franklin Delano Roosevelt, didn't he order everybody turning their gold and silver? And if you didn't, it was a $10,000 fine or 10 years in jail.
Yeah, but
isn't that correct me if I'm wrong? That when they started the birth certificates?
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, brother. The whole going off the gold standard did not turn the people into debtors, bro. Have you read House Joint Resolution 192?
It was a long time ago.
Okay, we need to read it because most people who cite it to say that going off the gold standard turned the people into debtors haven't read it. You got to read it, bro.
Okay, so now why do we have the birth
House Joint Resolution 192 took us off a fixed standard constitutionally. That's by going off the gold standard. That's a fixed standard, the legal tender clause. We switched the value of the dollar from a fixed standard to an unfixed standard. House Resolution 92 details this unfixed standard as being the faith and credit of the American people. It turned the American people into the creditors, brother, not the debtors. That's what it did.
Okay, so what backs up the U.S. dollar?
I just told you, faith and credit of the American people. It's a black card, brother. We are the creditors. The creditors make the money, bro.
I got you, bro, but where's your black card?
Debtors. We're not the debtors. We're the creditors, bro.
Can you show me how to get a black card? I want a black card.
You're missing the point, bro. You're missing the point. The American people are the creditors. The dollar is backed by, and this is easy to prove, the dollar is backed by the faith and credit of the American people. Faith being trust, credit being labor. You know it as well as I do because we exchange labor, which is property.
Right.
Okay.
And that was was that not the original premise? It said that in a lifetime, a man would, at that time, it said a man would earn something like $660,000, and based upon that fact, collateral was put forth for each birth certificate. Because right now, what they're finding out is that the courts are addressing the birth certificate.
How?
They're not addressing flesh and blood people. They're addressing the estate trust. But the people don't know that that's what's going on.
Brother, you have to
abandon estate. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You have to prove that, brother. You have to prove that. And now follow me. Let's follow the line of logic. Birth certificate is a commercial instrument. This is what people are saying, right? That means it will be regulated by the SEC, brother. It's not. It's not.
Then why do they force you to
get it? Brother, listen. I'm studying to be an insurance broker. I'm taking my test in less than a week. I know about the SEC.
I'm with Primerica, and that's my next lesson.
Praise the Lord. But listen, listen. I know about the SEC. All right, Security Exchange Commission. Right. There's a big difference between insurance and stock. The birth certificate is not a stock, bro. It's not. It's not a stock. It's just not, bro. It's not.
Well, I mean, you know, I tell you what, I was in a situation and I was taught how to make claim to the estate. That ministerial administrator asked me, what do you want me to do with the case? It blew my mind because I understood that without you treating the birth certificate, whatever it is, in law, you have abandoned it. And this is where the local courts have the jurisdiction to administer over it. And a lot of times we sit there, and from the very first time they call your name and you say, here, now you're the trustee. And as the trustee,
what are we talking about right now?
A lot of people go to jail because of that.
But what are we talking about right now? What are we talking about right now?
We're talking about freedom. We're talking about freedom from a system that has misused, abused, enslaved us, mostly because of our ignorance.
Why would the prophet make us part and parcel to a system like that?
Good question. Because and I understand what's in the literature, but can you find the legal idiom? And you know, a legal idiom is a phrase that has a single definition. Now, this is what I did, and I'm not disputing what the prophet said, but I looked up part and parcel, and it came up as a legal idiom, which means an essential part of something. Then I attempted to look up part and partial, and I couldn't find it. And every time I asked somebody for the definition, to you then. Yes, sir.
Can you read? Do you have Act 4 of the Divine Constitution bylaws in front of you?
Not in front of me, no.
I can quote it. Do you have it, Brother Ron?
Yeah, what's the name? I told a fib.
All
I
right,
got it
all
right
right.
here.
So, additional laws or the
Of the
all right.
Constitution bylaws. Now, brother Jelani, before I go further, let me ask you this question: the whole part and parcel thing, like we've just jumped a whole bunch of different topics, but anyway,
right.
Part and parcel thing. What does that relate to? Parcel. What does that relate to?
That's land parcel.
Okay, stop, brother Ron. Can you read Act 4, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws?
Well, I'm in the 101, so I have the additional.
Okay, you have the additional.
All members.
I'll quote it. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government.
Which government?
Because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government, and
which
must
government?
live the life according. Now we're jumping topics, but we'll answer that. But now, if you add parcel as it relates to land, it's totally out of context with the statement, brother.
No, sir. The full statement is part and parcel.
Of
part
the
and parcel
government
means an essential part.
Okay,
now when you put that in that same act,
brother,
it makes sense.
But when hold up, but okay, then explain the sense, please. I'm listening. Explain it.
It says, okay, part and parcel. So it says, by being a Moorish American, you are an essential part of the government and must live the life accordingly.
Stop. You said parcel meant land.
By itself, yes. Okay. But in the science of a legal
idiom, mean in this context?
No. Like I said, when I looked up part and parcel, not the words individually, the whole part and parcel, it said it meant an essential part of something. So when you take that definition and replace it in here, it makes sense that you are an essential part of the government and must live the life
part of the government, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, but please give me the definition of part and partial.
Easy. Part of and partial too. Simple.
Is that the legal definition?
It's the definition, brother.
Is that the legal definition? Can you look that up? And it says
brother, brother. It is the definition.
No, and sir.
Hold on.
It says that.
But hold on. We don't even have to do all of that. The definition you just gave, follow me. The definition you just gave a part and parcel of the government, meaning you're an essential part of. Would you agree?
That's what it says.
I agree. Now, that means that's what that means. It means you're a essential part of the government, right? How?
By participating in the government. That would make you an essential part of it, but by participating in government.
By being a citizen.
Right, by being a citizen.
How do you do it?
You pledge your allegiance.
What else?
Declare your nationality in divine creed.
Vote.
What's that mean?
By having a birth certificate.
What does it mean? What is it? No, brother Jelani. Seriously, and I'm not being facetious.
No, same here, brother. No.
Watch. What does it mean to be part of and an essential part of the government? Let's be very complete about this. Let's not leave any space for ambiguity.
I agree.
What does it mean?
To be a full participant, a citizen.
How?
By pledging allegiance to that government.
By
obeying the laws of that government.
What else?
By well, I mean, that's what I look at in whole. Is there anything else? Please enlighten me, brother. Hey, man, bring it, brother. I mean, I'm here to learn too. I don't know everything.
This is what the prophet said. That through it, matter of fact, hold on. I'll pull up something about even better that I'll read from the Moorish guy newspaper that he said, right? Give me just a second. In the Moorish guy newspaper, the prophet spoke to the topic. There was an article called "Political Slavery." Right. The article is called "Political Slavery," and here we go. Hold on. In the article, ready? This is what he said. First sentence. Anytime a man or a woman fails or refuses to cast a sacred ballot at the polls, they separate themselves from all rights as an American citizen. For surely,
Elder,
this is the only connecting medium for a citizen to his nation.
No, repeat that, brother. I couldn't hear. That's what I was just saying.
I'm sorry.
Hear.
I'll repeat it. He says, anytime a man or a woman fails or refuses to cast a sacred ballot at the polls, they separate themselves from all rights of an American citizen. For surely this is the only connecting medium for a citizen to his nation.
Whose nation? I know. Listen, I mean, I'm getting clarity too, brother, because the prophet said that we were a nation. So
he did. What did he mean by that? Let me ask you. He did. Matter of fact, let's talk about it specifically. In the first convention, 1928, he had a little child, a boy and a girl, had the Moorish flag wrapped around the girl, American flag wrapped around the boy, kissed him on the forehead, and then I now declare that you are a nation within a nation. Explain it. Explain it.
That's like a subnational entity.
What is that?
A subnational entity is a political division that exists inside of another, entirely inside of another political division.
Now tell me how that can, now tell me how such a thing is created in the United States by United States law.
Oh, that's very easy. Municipalities are subnational entities within a county, and counties are subnational entities within a state.
What gives them their authority?
Constitution.
You got to be more specific than that.
Their state's constitution.
Because okay, what gives the state its authority?
The United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4.
How?
By legislation.
Let's be more specific about the legislation. What does it do? What how? How?
No, you back to the vote again.
No. How are states created?
Through legislation.
We got to be specific. It's not just.
I mean, guess what?
Here it is. I'll give you the answer.
Right. Please elaborate.
They're admitted to the union via Congress, bro. That's how it happens. They're admitted via Congress to the union. This is Civics 101. That's
okay.
How.
So
that's how. So here's a question: is a religious organization a subnational entity?
A religious corporation is not a religious organization.
How is a religious corporation a subnational entity?
By definition, a religious corporation is a not-for-profit corporation with a degree of autonomy and is known by other governments on a subnational level.
Who is its authority?
That is what is written in the legislation.
But you're missing the point. Let me ask the question again. Who's its authority?
Ultimately, the Constitution, because the Constitution gives Congress the authority to trickle down laws.
Who's its authority directly?
Which authority?
This religious corporation. Here, I'll give a better question. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali says this: the Moorish science symbol of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization.
Absolutely.
Where?
And the state.
Thank you.
But then, to add on to that, I'll give you an example. When we established a religious corporation in Connecticut, the state troopers tried to peg us as a regular nonprofit. We went to the Secretary of State after them because they didn't say nonprofit religious. That's another category. There's three: profit, nonprofit, nonprofit, religious. When we asked her the difference between the two latter, she says, well, they have to file reports and they have to, even if they're nonprofit, they got to give us a guesstimation of how much they're going to make on a charity. Then we asked about the nonprofit religious. He says, well, once you register, you don't even have to give us a change of address.
I know that. But the question now becomes this, brother. What law?
So does that that not say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What law in any state, right, allows for the creation of an entity by that state to give it power beyond the scope of the state that created it?
Well, because in each constitution, there's a clause in there that says what the First Amendment says, that not even Congress can make a law with respect to religion or the practice and establishment thereof.
But that is not an answer to my question. Let me ask the question again. What state, in any state, what law in any state gives it the power or even the ability to create or incorporate an entity whose power supersedes the state it was incorporated in?
A corporation is a corporation. What makes the religious corporation special is the reverence that the states have and the limitation the states have when it comes to one's religion. For instance, Article 1, Section 2 of the South Carolina State Constitution says that the General Assembly of the state shall pass no laws with respect to religion or the practice and establishment thereof. 33-31-180 states that if the doctrine of a religious corporation is in conflict with this chapter, the religious corporation takes precedence.
I understand
the First Amendment or of the United States or the state constitution.
I understand that, but you're still not answering my question.
At a higher level.
Yes, but you're still not answering my question, bro.
I'm trying to, brother.
Listen, nobody disputes the United States government and the American system of laws reverence for freedom of religion. No one's disputing that. We're talking about power granted, the power to exist, granted by a state. What law in that state empowers it to create something greater than itself?
Yes, sir, but it's not. The religious corporation is not created. Anytime you speak about religion, that puts it in a higher category than the local legislation.
Then how can it be incorporated by a state, and why would it need to be, and why did you do that?
Because what the Secretary of State does, when you register it, i.e. incorporate it, they alert every other corporation in that state that you're there and you exist.
But brother, you do it for recognition. That's not incorporation.
No, it's for lack of a better term, commercial. Let me give you an example. When we established in Hartford, right, Moorish Holy Temple number 9, all of a sudden, catalogs started coming to our temple. We looked it up on the internet. There was a map from the highway to our front door. We didn't prescribe for any of this stuff.
That's not government, brother. That's bureaucracy. That's business. Yeah. It's not government.
Right.
That happens for my kung fu school, sir.
I may understand that, but I'm telling you from my perspective. And what the lady told me at the Secretary of State, she basically said that once you establish the religious corporation, there is no other connection. If I don't even have to give them our change of address, that means that, hey, look, we know you're here.
Yeah, but that's bureaucracy, bro. My question, again, the question's not being answered. Here, let me just make the statement.
Okay.
There is no law that exists anywhere in any state that provides for the state to create an entity, because incorporation is that it's getting its authority to exist from that state. That is what incorporation is. It's just what it is. Now, that being said, it's impossible for a state to create an entity that has more authority than itself. It's impossible. It's impossible.
When you establish a religious corporation, it's not asking permission to exist. When you register it, they assign a file number so that in the event someone inquires about it, it is identified. It is an entity in that state.
That's not
what
incorporation
has its own governmental confine.
That's not what incorporating means.
I'm not talking about incorporation. I'm talking about the process and what was told to us.
Well, the prophet said this: the Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization.
Right.
He said that it was incorporated within this government.
What did he mean by that? See, this is confusing to me. Because he didn't say incorporated into their government. He said incorporated into this government. So what is this government?
Let me ask you your own. Hold on. Let me ask you your own question. Which government?
Okay. Huh?
Which government?
Moorish Divine National Movement.
That's a government?
Yeah.
When was it established?
When the prophet said so.
When did he say that that was a government, and when did he say it was established?
When he attended the inauguration and he represented that. I forgot, brother. You said that wasn't in the original. What's the name?
No. What I'm saying is he attended the inauguration. It was a ball, brother, and he didn't there. He wasn't. Hold on. He wasn't there representing a separate government.
See,
he wasn't.
Elder, listen.
So let me ask you. Again, what government, bro? When did the prophet say that the Moorish Divine National Movement was a government, and when was it established?
Well, our conflict in this is the document that I just read to you versus the one you quoted that doesn't have that in there.
That's not the brother. That's not the conflict. I promise you, it's not the conflict. I'm asking you a simple question. When did the prophet say that the Moorish Divine National Movement was a government, and when was it established?
I see your point. What leads you to believe that is based on the document I just read. And herein lies the problem. Because that's the only document I have. That's the only document I've seen. If that's a fraudulent version,
well, here's the question.
Who's misleading us?
I'm not even addressing the document. Here's the question. When did the prophet establish the Moorish a government called the Moorish Divine National Movement? When and how? It should be very clear cut. See, because I can point to January 29th, 1926. I can point to July 20th, 1928.
Right.
Okay. I can point to those. But can you point to a government being established somewhere? How do governments get established?
Well, here's the thing, though. And I'll address what you said. Here's the thing. Why would he say, and I understand about the document, why would he say, well, why would it say he showed up representing the Moorish Divine and National Movement?
Why not? Why not?
So
where in that? But here's the question: where in that statement does he say it's a separate government?
He doesn't say that. It's assumed.
Thank you. Right.
What's on more? I'm back. You know.
There we go. Exactly.